not taking it back. I'm taking over.
Coming live from the 215.
What's up, fam? Welcome back to the Time is Right podcast. My name is Scott Smith, and I believe this is actually the final episode of season 1 of Time is Right. What a journey it's been. And this has the potential to be the best episode we've ever done.
Wow.
I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
No pressure.
But this could be the greatest episode in the history of Time is Right up to this point.
Wow.
The reason why is because we are going back in time to October 28th through October 30th, Halloween weekend. And we're going to a faraway land called Texas, Fort Worth, Texas. We did a thing called Justice Run that we got invited to be a part of. And to tell this story, we actually have the full crew that went on this trip. This is the most people we've ever had on an episode of Time is Right.
How you doing?
And it's going to be a little ridiculous.
Yes.
To introduce some of these people, some of them you know, but one of them is a newbie to the pod. Yes. But let's start with the oldies and goodies. Aable is back on the podcast. What's good, baby?
What's going on, everybody?
Couldn't wait for that.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm always happy to be back. I love talking to you guys. Hopefully you like listening, but I'm back. My name's Aable. Love God, love music, make music. I'm happy to be here.
We love you, Aable. Welcome back. This next guy has been on a couple episodes, I believe, but it's been a minute. Holy Smoke Fest, episode 4 or 3 or something like that, but he's back in the room. Mr. Rick Harmoney, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Skis. I've only been on one episode, though.
You weren't on Good Soil?
No, you didn't invite me.
That's not true.
That's not true. He didn't answer the text.
When in doubt, Rick didn't answer the text.
Cap, you gotta put a little soundbite in there. Stop the cap.
I need those triggers.
Rick, welcome back. It's good to have you again.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being here. Another returner. We joked about him, how he could have been on pretty much every single episode we've ever done, but he's only been on one. But now on 2. Mr. DJ Ant G, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, everybody.
He said, it's me.
Mario.
Oh, boy.
Nah, what's going on, y'all?
DJ, it's good to have you back, baby. We also have a first timer on the pod.
Yes,
Not the first time his
legend.
name has been said on pod. Because we've talked about this man a lot because he's a part of a lot of the things that all of these episodes have spoken about. But first time actually getting him here. He is impossible to nail down or to get him to do anything, but he's here. Rashid Saint-Fleur.
Woo! I'm here, everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. It's a blessing. Who
are you?
We're honored, bro. First of all, I just want to thank Scott for flying me out this morning. True blessing to be here. I'm a singer-songwriter based out of the
I'm a singer-songwriter based out of the
All right, yeah. Yeah, it's cool to be part of the podcast finally. For those who don't know me, my name is Rashid Saint-Fleur. From the far lands of Norristown. Been part of Right for about, I think, like 2 to 3 years. I'm not really sure.
I think it was 2019.
Yeah, it was right
It was before the pandemic, right?
Yeah, it wasn't before. It was during.
Oh, 2020.
'Cause
Summer 2020.
you would do the Instagram Jones. And like after one of the Instagram Jones, you reached out to me. And then you made that ask. And
3 years.
6
The rest
years
is
later.
history?
Yeah.
That's what's up. Well, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks.
Rashid's name comes up a lot. We talked about him on the Worship Fest episode. Talked about you on the first gallery episode because you won the raffles, both of them, Jones. That was kind of ridiculous, but it's good to finally have the man, the myth, the legend, Rashid Saint-Fleur, in
Thanks
the room.
for having me.
Now, we went to Texas October 28th or October 29th, I guess, through October 31st or whatever. It was Halloween weekend. It was a Friday through Sunday for the most part. And how this kind of all happened in a word, or really in a person, is this young woman named Jasmine Weiler, formerly known as Jasmine Tate, also known as Jasmine Janae, or as I affectionately call her, Tater Tot. I've known Jasmine for, I don't know, the better part of 10 years or whatnot. Actually had a little bit of a connection with her through some mutual connections in Western PA all the way back in like 2010, 2011. She started writing and performing music around the same time that I started doing spoken word. And she moved to Philly a few years later after I was already here. And she was the worship director actually at Aable's church where he goes currently. She was a worship pastor there for a few years. She had a little community called Artisans. That was a creative community.
Yep.
And when she left Philly, she went back to Pittsburgh for a little while, and then she went to Texas to join staff at Mercy Culture Church, and where she launched the AXL Creative Co, which AXL is like very similar, different in ways, but similar to Ripe Creatives and our community here in Philly. In a lot of ways, we consider one another sister ministries. I really just ended up in Texas as a tag along, to be there to support you guys and show up and be a part of the weekend with you. But each of you guys got booked through your relationship with Jasmine for this festival. So if you guys just want to go around and kind of share some context for maybe your connection with Jasmine or how you got connected for Justice Run.
Yeah, I think I met Jasmine at an Artisans. I forgot how I found out about Artisans, but it was during the summer. They were in a backyard, and I remember they do like these artist spotlights. So I showed up, and naturally, when they find out you do music, they kind of throw you up there. So my first interaction with Jasmine, I performed one of my songs, and I just remember meeting her, but I really didn't know much about her. You know what I mean? It wasn't until later on that I got to talk to her and kind of like hear her heart, and just immediately, Jasmine's the kind of person that you could tell right away how much she loves God. Like so tender-hearted, so wise. Yeah, she's like someone you're drawn to. She's like an amazing person to be around, and I felt like our hearts for God were similar, and that was the ways we kind of connected. So when it came to the actual festival, I think it's just like I'm someone that they see, who carries a similar heart to their ministry, and they wanted me to be a part of that with them, and I was really honored for that. You know what I'm saying? So that's the short version.
I know you met Jasmine before we even met.
Yes.
Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's crazy. I just pulled up the archive post from an event that we did back in 2013. Showed it to Rashid. But yeah, man, when I first met Jasmine, like, there was something different about her, like, even than most Christians. And like, in my conversations with her, like, she was always encouraging, always smiling.
Yep.
Like, if you know Jasmine, she's always smiling.
Always.
Like,
even when she's mad. No, I'm just kidding.
So, like, there was just like this joy that she had, and just to like converse with her, it like gave me encouragement to like continue pursuing Jesus, and like even in our long distance like friendship, because she was in Philly, I was in Jersey at the time, but she had also invited me to do like the segues at In the Light Church, so I did like 2 of those, because she had told me like there's an anointing on your life, and like God wants to use you for something powerful. You just have to steward that well, and that like has always stuck with me.
It's good.
And yeah, like I definitely value my relationship with Jasmine and like the way that it's grown since 2013. So it's been some time, almost 10 years. Nah, I value her friendship, for what she's doing down at AXL in Texas, and
Yeah, she's the truth.
She's special.
She's a special person for sure. And Yeah, I think it's cool whenever the opportunity is not, oh, here's a festival director, found your music online and we want to book you. This was really born out of friendship.
Yep.
You know, Rashid, what about you in terms of getting connected to the Justice Run opportunity?
To be honest, I don't even remember how my name was thrown in the mix. I've never met.
I do.
We know.
I've never met anyone.
When they
from-
contacted us,
Okay,
they
right.
brought up your name.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's because they've kind of seen what you do and probably value you know, what you bring to the table.
I remember when, like, you guys, I don't know how, but, like, the ask was asked to me, and I was like, are you for real? Like, you serious? Like, they fly me out to Texas to perform, you know, that would be dope. Yeah, I'm in a very early stage of the entire, like, artistry journey. So, like, being able to fly out to a different state, to be able to perform in front of, like, different people, it's just, like, a blessing and an opportunity in itself.
Yep.
You did this one video, I think, of you holding a SM7B, the microphone, and you did I'll always love you,
Oh, okay, yeah.
even if I do, or whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That clip.
That's pretty good, Scott.
No, it wasn't. Don't be gaslighting me. But you did that song, that little like 15-second clip, and that was like the beginning of her eyes specifically on you.
Okay.
It was just like, what the frick? Who is this?
Word.
He's in your community. What's going on? He's incredible. And she also, like, she would pop into a lot of the creatives' lives just and say what's up. So a lot of times she wouldn't even necessarily perform, but she would just come through to support. And so she saw you perform on the creatives' lives. So she has been a fan of you since before you thought you were really doing something with music.
Word.
Yeah, like she's been like, I'm sold. Rashid Saint-Fleur all the way for the win.
Never know.
So whenever this opportunity, exactly, you really don't. I mean, there were so many times on that whole creatives' lives where random like people that are amazing were on it and wouldn't perform, right? Because they weren't gonna do that. Like,
Bro, this is random, but I remember at one point you had Marcotte on.
yeah,
You had
Jordan.
Marcotte
Yeah,
and
Marco.
Marco. Sorry, my
Yeah,
bad.
you good.
Apologies, but Dante Bowe hopped in the live that one time when they were there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. It was
Super
like a
random.
lot of those
Yeah.
stories and situations on those creatives' lives where I'd be like DMing them like, yo, will you get on and perform? Because you know if they go live with your page, like it's going to be a major opportunity to get in front of a lot more. But they were like, nah, I'm chilling. Like, I'm not going to do that,
Right.
you know. But this is great. Like, this is encouraging my soul to see people pursuing their art. So Jasmine would come to some of those, and she like saw you performing some of your original stuff or covers. She's like, I'm all in on Rashid Saint-Fleur.
It's love. I did not know that.
Yeah,
It's
you got
amazing.
you got a fan in Texas, baby.
Wow.
And what about you, bro?
No, one of our good friends, Anthony Washington, had me DJ an event called what was that? True Voices, right?
Yeah,
The poetry-
yeah, it was actually AOB
It was AOB. They put on an event.
when Jasmine was there.
No, it was the True Voices event. I think.
I think it was All One Body. I think it was right when he left True Voices to start All One Body.
Okay, one of them. And you can clarify later. But so I did the event. Jasmine actually closed the event out performing. We didn't meet there. A few weeks later, I get a phone call. I don't know if it was Scott or Ant that connected us, but there was an event happening at her church, and the DJ backed out. So I don't know. I always get the emergency calls, but I got the emergency call, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll be there." She was like, "Hey, I saw you at the the poetry event. Can you come through?" So went there. We actually formally met, did the event, and I believe that Artisans was a thing at the time. And they were just about to start doing these events called the Underground.
The Underground, yeah.
So she was like, "Hey, I would, love for you to be a part." And I'm like, "Absolutely, I'm on board." So did one of the Underground events, and then they decided that they were going to do them on like a routine basis.
It was like quarterly, right? I think it was quarterly.
Either quarterly or monthly, one of those. And she was like, "Hey, could you, be the Underground's official DJ?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." In between there, I started. I believe I went to her church's Easter production. And at the time, me and my wife were looking for a church, and we just ended up getting plugged in there. So we served together, for a little bit. I'm an audio engineer, so I did sound there. Somebody snitched on me. I think it might have been Scott.
It's possible.
Yeah. So she was like, "Hey, do you do sound?" And I was just like sitting in church, and I'm like, "Yeah." So, yeah. Yeah, and we like fellowship together and like serve together and stuff. And Jasmine's an amazing person. So, yep.
Facts.
Yeah, I think it's cool because we've all gotten connected to her. And this whole episode will not just be talking about how great Jasmine is. She is great. But I think it communicates something that when you live a life that's surrendered and dependent upon God, people gravitate towards you. We have all gravitated towards her, and we've been blessed by our relationships with her. And obviously this story is a result of that. Mm-hmm. And I think what was cool was this festival. So Justice Run, was a pretty legit thing, right? This was not like a make-believe festival. Yeah. Like, it really was a festival. And just speaking frankly, if they wanted to spend the money, they could have spent money on artists to bring them in that have much bigger followings, would have had much larger draws than us in Philly. But they made an intentional decision. Let's get the guys from Philly and bring them in because they felt in their heart relationship, collaboration over competition, relationship over opportunity, right? It's never, hey, how do we get this person to come in? It's like, who do we want to build a relationship with? Mm-hmm. And that has certainly marked our rhythm. Yep. All 13, 14 of these episodes have been the result of relationships, not just, oh, here's a great opportunity, let's go do it. It's been because somebody opened the door for us to go. Yep. And we want to be faithful to say yes to those relationships. And a lot of that stuff is, similar DNA to Justice Run and Axel and Jasmine. So the booking happens. Everybody gets invited in to be a part of it. You guys were thinking about doing this as a wives weekend. Remember?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we wanted our wives to come, yeah.
So it's going to be like you, Aunt, Aaron, Rick, wives, and then Rashid.
The fifth wheel.
Yeah. Rashid is the
sixth wheel.
Seventh wheel.
Seventh wheel, sorry.
Get a situation.
Real quick.
She was like, yo, I'm gonna get on one knee.
She's out there, brother. She's out there.
Oh, man.
Come on.
She's in here.
She's in your heart?
Here. Yeah, my heart.
Hallelujah. Praise God. But you guys were going to go 7 wheels deep. And I think because, just the financial side of it, plane tickets were not cheap to fly to Texas on a whim, kind of last minute. And then, it just kind of looked like, all right, we're not going to take our wives from a financial standpoint. Scott, there's definitely room in the house. Do you want to come? And so
Airbnb was lit, by the way.
Thank you
guys.
Yes.
It was so beautiful. We felt well taken care of.
Talk to me. Nice.
Yeah, actually, let's talk about that. So let's just transition to the actual weekend. We get there, and they pick us up from the airport with an Uber, take us to a house, and the house is just bananas. Do you guys remember walking in, just like, what the heck is this?
I was shocked because I'm like, yo, I'm not expecting much. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, they're gonna take care of us. I appreciate it. But we walked in, and it was just brand new, looked like a newly refurbished home, and it just had character and style to it. Yeah. It was very cozy and comfortable, and it felt like a place that we're going to be able, which we did, have time together and relax. Yeah, I just love nice new Airbnbs. They went above and beyond is what I'm trying to say, and that's who they are. You know what I'm saying? They spent that money to honor us, and I appreciated it.
Right.
I think we all just felt well taken care of. The hospitality was there. So, yep.
Yeah, it's clearly evident that they communicate as a team very effectively.
I could tell that, which I knew it was true about them, but I could tell that they really care about us and our experience there. we weren't just someone that was just booked. You know what I'm saying? We weren't just the entertainment for their festival. They cared about the relationship that they're building, like making sure we were taken care of, that we felt comfortable, and that continued throughout the entire weekend.
Yeah.
So
That's facts. So let's get into the Friday night stuff. Rick, will you share a little bit of the story of what we did Friday night?
Friday night, we had, so one thing that they really wanted to focus on that they did the previous year was like communing together. So like they really wanted us to have dinner together with not only just us here on the podcast, but like their community and the other artists that they had booked for the festival. And it was a good time. We got to actually build relationships with the other artists that were booked. We got to build with that community and just be invested in. Like, felt well. Like I couldn't. The whole time there, I just kept on saying like, "Yo, the hospitality through the roof." Like
through the roof. They had Carrabba's for the dinner. When I tell you that food was bussin'. It was so good.
No, but even like the posture, not even just like the food. Like the food was amazing, but like the folks who brought us out there, like their hearts of like servanthood.
Yep.
Like it was through the roof. Like I've never, I don't want to say I've never, but like to experience like that type of quality, to like for folks going out of their way and serving you, like it was definitely life-giving.
Yeah.
Like there was things where I felt like I could have done myself, but the way that they treated the situation, it was like, no, we got it. Like y'all are our guest. And it just felt like just in the scriptures, like when Jesus talks about when the wedding, right? Like get all the guests from out in the streets and treat them just as like the invited guests that we invited.
Yep.
Right. It just felt very like super hospitable.
Yep.
And that's like the one thing that I keep focusing on, but I was so blown away by their hospitality.
Yeah, so just to reiterate, we're in the room, AXL people were in the room, all of the other artists that are performing are in the room, plus like the MC, the DJ, and a couple, I guess other random people that are like helping out with the festival that may or may not be like AXL team, but we're also in the room. So there's like 25, 30 of us.
Chad Smith, some folks may know him from his skits on...
He's got a personality online.
Yes.
Big one.
IG, TikTok.
Great content.
Amazing dude. Like,
He is amazing.
Really amazing. So all these people were in this room, and yeah, like, so I just remember food's on one side, they got a couple tables, everybody's sitting around, and it's kind of like the first day of like a Week at Philly project.
Yeah, like orientation.
It was like orientation almost.
Yeah.
Where you're sitting down with a bunch of people, you're trying not to be comparative, you're just trying to like be yourself, be loving, be genuine, be a light, and everybody's kind of awkwardly getting to know one another. And a bunch of those people, like fast connections, fast relationships. Aaron's one of those people that just apparently ends up in the deep end with everybody immediately. So you just like see him over there like, yeah, man. And that's when the Lord saved my life. Like within 5 minutes,
Jesus, he really
man.
did.
Jesus, man.
Hey, Scotty. Jesus, man.
You ain't hear it though. You ain't hear it. Then he hit him with, I go by Aable because I often feel like I'm wrong.
Right.
Yo, listen, we got to get to that.
Why be laughing, yo?
I didn't hit him with that.
You see that?
Not in the conversation. Not in the conversation. I was prompted.
Oh yeah,
I was
yeah.
prompted. And
Yo, why you have to do it like
my testimony. Rick likes to make fun of my he's gonna answer to God one day, guys. Don't worry.
We're going to leave whatever that is alone. And did you talk to anybody that night that you felt like, before we got into the games and the prayer time and all that other stuff that we did, was there anybody just sitting around the table that you connected with?
Yeah, I guess naturally just Bryce because we're both DJs. So, yeah, we were talking for a little bit about like, DJ stuff. And Angela as well. Because we have so many mutual friends, we had a lot of people that I've known from Philly transitioned like to Texas. So yeah, we had a lot of like mutual friends and stuff. So it made for an easy convo.
Facts. Shout out to Angela Kane, by the way.
Yes,
That's who we're
shout
talking
out.
about. She's one of the leaders of Axel, also an artist.
Yes.
Ridiculously dope.
Super
On
dope.
the same project with Jasmine that Aable is on. Just a different song. She did Humpty Dumpty.
Angela is another amazing person.
Yeah.
Incredible
super dope.
person.
Absolutely.
We appreciate her a
Big
ton.
time.
So after we're just done like eating, basically they gather us all together. There's like 25 of us in a circle. And it was like the icebreaker that's not an icebreaker. Shout out to Chaz. Where it's 500 questions, 550 questions.
Yeah.
You
How
said your
about that?
name and then you said a number 1 to 550. And they would scroll through the list, find that question and ask it.
I got the most awkward question.
What was your awkward question?
Oh, yeah. Yes, he did.
Yes,
he did.
I forget. Like some people were getting them like I don't know, favorite color and all that. So then I pick a number. I know I pick a number, and it's like, okay, what is it that you don't like about your friends?
It was something about like something that was like
He's literally in
Yeah.
the room with us.
yeah, he was
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, all of my friends that are right here. Sure, I'm a pretty transparent person.
Yeah.
Let's go. So
yeah.
Going off on us.
I believe I said I didn't like when my friends kind of like, answered for me in response to like needing help. So like I feel like we just do that a lot. Like if someone needs help and you have people that you can depend on, but you're like, oh no, they're too busy or they can't do it because of that, and not actually asking them. Yeah, so like let people tell you no. But
Let
ask.
people say no. That's good.
So, yeah,
life lesson.
but that could have went left real quick. So
Yeah,
With that being said, you want to help me move my couch?
no,
He's like,
See,
dude, I
that
just
was
had
easy.
back surgery.
No.
No, that's hysterical. But I remember Aable. That's whenever
That's when they asked me a question. I was the first one to go
it's
because
so
I was
funny.
brave.
We were
I
dying.
stepped out in faith. But they asked me a question. I really don't remember the exact question. It was just a deep question, and I started to explain my life and kind of like my life. I've often been very dependent on God. And so that goes into my artist name is Aable.
Go ahead.
Rick.
Because I feel like I'm not.
Often feel like I'm not.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You gotta remember.
You can't forget the
often.
often. Listen, the line comes from a song I wrote, but it's true, right? I carried the name Aable. It's not how I got the name, but it was a kind of a revelation for me of why the name is so significant to me and to others, that the message I'm trying to share with others of God being able. So,
But in the room, it was amazing because 20 people were going, "Oh, wow," and we're all just dying. Like we're like, because we've heard this spiel.
they've heard it
between
over
him
and over.
So many people, like
and
500 times.
the truth of God, it just gets old eventually.
Nah, come on,
he's wildin', bro.
don't play those games. Man.
It starts to get funny.
Oh my gosh.
Yo, he really,
He's offended.
he really is offended right now.
You need to kill the flesh right now.
Nah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I'm not offended. It's just Rick brings it up all the time.
It was so funny though.
So,
in the
bring it up all
moment,
the
it was
time.
so funny for all of us to have that experience.
Yeah.
But Rick's question was even funnier.
Oh yeah, they said, do you feel like you could sing?
It had to do with singing.
Which we have clowned Rick forever because he wants to be a worship leader and a singer. But
It's not that. It's that
he
his name is
hasn't.
Rick Harmoney.
Yeah. I remember the harmony part. Yeah, it was the harmony part.
It's the fact that his name's Rick Harmony, but the question had to do with singing. Out of all the
Yeah.
questions he could
Right.
yeah,
ask.
like with the
Yeah.
name Harmony,
he
singing
doesn't
is
sing.
like implied.
Right.
He can't sing yet.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Can
He's
you
still
sing,
waiting
bro?
for the anointing.
He didn't say
Yes.
we can. We never heard him.
He's asked Emily if he could be in Ripe Worship.
What she
You
said?
have?
I mean, I'm gonna be the Kurt Franklin of Ripe Worship.
Come on, come on.
We gonna,
Come on now. He's gonna be hyping us
Rick
up.
gonna be dancing on stage.
for all
yo.
my people in the struggle.
Be a light.
So good. But I feel like it was just a really good. I mean, they stressed that it wasn't an icebreaker. It was an icebreaker, but it created a lot of great conversations, context for the other people in the room, because we've never met these people, And I think what I thought was really beautiful was similar in the ways that they could have went out and gotten bigger artists than us to be on this major festival. A lot of the other artists in that room were just starting, legitimately.
Right. Yeah.
This was their first performance in front of a large crowd ever.
Yeah.
And they were on this thing. And I was like, oh, wow, this person has no music out. Or this person just released their first song and they're performing. And I was like, this is so kingdom. You know, like Jasmine's like, okay, we have AXL, you know, Justice Run, festival, thousands of people. How do we steward this stage well? Who can we give this opportunity to that's going to impact them? Not who's going to come in, get the check, eat the food, do the set really well and leave. Who's somebody that's going to be impacted by this opportunity where it's actually going to change the way that they operate as an artist afterwards. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
Like that whole room, it was so intentional from who they invited to be a part of it. Yeah. And the other thing I'll just say about Friday night is I felt, which we're implementing now at our family nights with Right, because we do what they did, right? Like every other Monday or at least one Monday a month, we get together as a community and just have dinner together and eat together and build relationship and connect. But we felt like, man, some of the spiritual overtones of that space, like how do we implement that into what we do?
Yeah.
Because we've just been trying to build community and cross-pollination because we have so many people in so many different directions between the worship team, the artists, the poets, the event team.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, let's just get together. And I think that was an encouragement to us of like, look, we got to pray together and worship together as a community more, because that's so important to that culture that we're trying to establish.
Yeah.
So I remember feeling that, and we did pray that night.
We did
for each other, and then for the festival the next day.
That question game might be fun to do with our community.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to find more ways to share moments together instead of just being in like pockets of people fellowshipping. But that one would be probably a good one because there's so many questions. You know what I mean?
We wouldn't run out.
Right.
Yeah, just don't pick question number.
You remember the number?
No,
I think mine was 27. I think I said 27.
I think I picked 223.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what number I picked.
I picked one with 6.
Did you?
No.
Because you're
I'm not ashamed of the gospel. But anything else from Friday night? Or do we? I feel like we covered it all.
Nah,
you guys got something else?
After Aaron had to go to practice with Jasmine.
Oh, the rehearsal.
Yeah,
We
rehearsal.
went to the church.
Yeah,
That was dope.
And then I mean, go ahead. You could share that a little bit.
Yeah. So because I did a song with Jasmine, which is another story that is awesome, but we just had no time to ever go over anything. So she was already rehearsing for the festival, and they invited me to come over to their church to just like kind of get a feel of what it could be like on the day of the festival when we performed together. And it was just really cool, man. Like I never expected to ever be on a song with Jasmine. I was really honored that she'd even choose me. But then actually, performing it with her, it was cool. It was really cool. You know what I mean? Just like reflecting on how it happened. And I'm also glad I remember my lyrics because I hadn't heard the song in a while. So I needed to practice too. You know what I mean? I need to make sure I can get it all out. You know what I mean?
Bro, the funny part about it, as you're performing, you didn't notice. I don't know if you knew this, but like as you were like practicing, like I'm pretty sure Angela even was one of them, and there were like 2-3 other people. They were like watching you perform. They were like, "Oh, this is the dude on the song." Like they had no idea that the guy that was at the whole like dinner that we just came from. They like showed up to the church for the rehearsal, and then now they see you performing a song that they've heard like tons of times, and they were like, "Oh, the dude from the dinner is the dude who performs on the song." And I was like, "Yeah, that's him." Like, you know,
hello, it's me again.
That's
Definitely
hilarious.
wasn't Angela.
Angela should have known.
Might have been somebody
Yeah, I
else.
don't know. Yeah,
Couldn't have been Angela, or I'm like, Angela, what happened?
That'd be really funny though. If she
She had no idea.
Did she think you were Aable though or something?
She know.
Yes.
Yeah.
She
They
thought her
literally
name
thought
was
my
Aable.
name is spelled Aable because my real name is Aaron, and it has 2 A's.
She goes, "Yo, it's Aable."
So this whole time she's been calling me Aable,
to
this
everybody.
entire time. There's probably
For a year,
a
at
plethora of
least.
people out there that are like, oh, I love Aable's music. And so it prompted me in my Instagram to put in quotation, in parentheses, how you say it. It's just Aable.
It's like Hey Arnold, but hey
Yo.
Aable.
Hey, Aable. Hey, Ron.
Yes.
Hey, Aable, man.
Anyway.
Yeah, that was so funny. But that night, Zachariah was there.
Yes. So Zachariah, that's what I wanted to get to. Zachariah, man, to see like his testimony and the way that God has like used him through like the disability that he's been experiencing.
Yep.
Like, and to see him sing and like sing with a powerful voice too, like that joint was crazy in my mind.
Yeah, Zachariah Thomas was a guy that was in Philly for a while. He's in Texas now, right? Yeah. He was in Indiana for a little bit. Now he's in Texas.
Indiana,
he's from Indiana originally. But he was out here in Philly when Jasmine was in Philly. Amazing artist.
Amazing.
Unbelievable singer-songwriter.
Phenomenal.
Incredible.
Phenomenal.
Great vocals.
Love that dude.
And yeah, just like has a gift. You know, I think he's one of the best at like being a believer, but writing like kingdom Christian art that is specifically for the culture, that is like bringing kingdom truth to the forefront without it necessarily being a worship song. He's super talented at that. And his voice is crazy. He can rap like on the low.
He is, yeah.
But he went through this crazy thing. I don't want to like say what it was and be wrong, but basically he, through a sickness, kidney stuff, going crazy, loses his voice completely. Like couldn't even talk.
Yep.
Heartbreaking, you know, going through some process, God like restoring and healing. Not all the way there yet by any stretch of the imagination, but that was the first time I had heard him like really be able to give it a go on stage since everything happened with the sickness
It was
stuff.
emotional, like thinking about, you know, just I mean the struggles we go through in life, and me knowing him before he went through that, just to see him persevering and also just knowing God gave him that gift for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like it was really special to see him go up there and share, even though he knew he wasn't at his fullest capacity. You know what I mean? Like to go up there and still, you know, pour his heart out. It was it was powerful.
Yeah.
Man. It was good.
That was the first time I ever heard him sing, like perform live.
yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Follow the sound on Instagram if you want to check out Zachariah.
Yes. Follow it.
But yeah, Angela was there, Zachariah was there. I think Kanita came that night, right?
Yeah, Kanita, because
It
Kanita
was a big old family reunion.
We came back, we crashed because Saturday morning, this is what it's all about. We got to get to the day of.
Yeah,
Early start. We get up. It is raining and it's cold. It's gross out.
Oh, it's horrible.
We had to park, walk through mud. Rick was really trying not to get his shoes all checked up.
Well, everybody I think but me had fancy sneakers, and maybe Scott.
I don't have fancy sneakers, period.
I had
Aaron
boots.
did, but Aaron brought extra pair.
I did, but neither
change
of them
it
I
to-
wanted to get dirty. To be fully transparent.
I mean, it was rainy. It was gross.
It was
great.
it was rain boot type
It was,
of weather.
it was like, you know, cow tipping type weather.
Yeah.
Yep, that's facts. We pull up to the park, just this run. It's a marathon, half marathon, 5K, 10K, and something else. I forget what the other thing would be. But it's a run where people are, you know, basically raising funds to support the justice initiative of Mercy Culture, the justice residencies, housing for people coming out of sex trafficking. Really amazing cause, amazing initiative. And people are there to run, but there's also like major level production and stages for the music that's going to be performed throughout the day. But when we get there, it's worship with the entire team. Like the staff, there's got to be 300 volunteers there?
No idea.
250
Yeah, probably
volunteers
around
at
there.
least.
It was a lot.
It was a
Yeah,
lot.
it was at least 200.
And
At
it's
least.
really early in the morning, and I just remember being freezing, and I was like, this sucks.
No,
Nobody's going to come.
But I will say this. What was powerful about it was like, it's 8 a.m. People still worshiping the Lord that dumb early in that rain.
in that
Yep.
weather. Yep.
Like,
Committed to the cause.
Yeah, they didn't care about their sneakers.
yeah.
Definitely.
They
didn't.
definitely didn't care about their sneakers, Rick.
I was in the mud.
Bounties.
I cleaned them afterwards.
There's a story. Yeah, you know, I cleaned my sneakers afterward. They came out cleaner than before I stepped into them.
Hey, hallelujah.
There's a message.
how
There's
he-
a message there
that's
for
how he
someone.
works. Won't he do
There's
it?
a message there.
But we worship, and then at 12 o'clock, I think, or something like that, 11 o'clock was kickoff. And Chaz gets up on stage as the MC of the festival. And as soon as he steps on stage, sun comes out.
Yep.
Praise
Clears
God.
up.
Oh wow.
Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I do. It was
Out
a
of
beam
nowhere.
of light. Just
Like, bling,
it warmed up. It warmed up.
it warmed up and the sun came out
Yes.
out of nowhere. And it was just like, we have perfect weather. I mean, it's still muddy and like wet on the ground, but the weather completely shifted.
To give some backstory, they said that the year prior, that they had to close it down early because it was like
It's like a hurricane or tornado or something like that.
tornado type weather. So they was like, man, opposition always comes when we're trying to do something for the kingdom. So like having that mindset, like and seeing,
yeah.
what
They're like,
we-
look, at least they ain't a tornado.
No, but when they were setting up the stage, it was like water was dripping onto all the equipment.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
like, we're like, oh no.
No, but they even had to move the stage because where they originally had it set up was on the hill, and the mud would have made the stage slide down the hill. So they had to
That would've been lit.
They had to set it up.
Roller coaster.
One time.
We're going down, down.
They would have had to set. So they set it up in
Yeah.
a different section.
Yeah.
Which also changed like the way people come into the park.
Yeah.
So
Did not know that.
right there was a lot of
There's
things.
a little bit of challenges there. Yeah.
Imagine performing and people are running from the stage.
Yo, you,
Sorry, I'm just. It's sliding down
Oh yeah,
the hill.
Jasmine. The
Yeah.
year before, she didn't even perform, right?
People are
do you mean?
running.
Like it got cut
Oh
short.
yeah, she didn't perform the year prior because by the time her set would have came up, the tornado.
Yeah.
Like they had to close everything down.
well, thankfully we didn't have a tornado.
Yeah.
Amen.
I mean, the setups, like raining. I remember sound checks being a little bit more challenging because they were, flipping the location for the stage. Plus, it's muddy. Trucks are getting stuck. All that kind of stuff. But the staging was lit, like
Oh, yeah.
next level.
1000%.
It was nice.
Huge LED walls, lights, trussing, roof on the stage, big high, probably 5 foot stage or whatever it is off the
nice.
ground. Really, really nice. 2 stages. There was the big stage that you guys all performed on. There was also another smaller stage
Yeah.
halfway up, like right where the start of the runs were. Bryce was DJing there all day. A lot of the other artists, it was like kind of a newer thing for them, were performing on that platform. And you guys were kind of, the headliners of the festival. And I think that's whenever it kind of hit us. Like, oh, we're Ripe is like the headliners of this festival. I mean, outside of Zachariah and Jasmine later in the night. But you guys are not being given some side pony kind of situation.
Right.
And we would have been content with that.
Right.
I mean, it's just kind of insane the way that they just rolled out the red carpet for you guys. Does that make? Did you guys feel that way?
No,
Or was
I-
did you know you guys were like the?
I didn't know that we were the headliners, but like I felt very honored. Like,
Yeah.
and it, like I said, their hospitality like leaked into every aspect of
Yeah.
that weekend. Like there was,
Didn't you guys get like assigned assistants and stuff?
yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
that was
amazing.
Like they were like, what do you need? Like, do you need tea before you go on? I'm like, oh sure, I'll take tea. They ordered tea from like Tivana or something. Like,
it was definitely
It
from
was
Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
But Starbucks might partner with Tivana, so maybe you're still right.
I think they own it.
They own it. Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So
No offense, like,
But then they like bought us dinner and like
Yeah.
lunch and everything. Like, amazing.
hospitality was incredible.
Yeah, it was good. But pre-show, so Kanita's there. Obviously, Angela, Jazz are running around, kind of working the festival. But 2 other people show up that were also blast from the past. Brian Kennedy.
Dong dong. I just heard the Law and Order sound in my head.
I don't know why, but
I don't
it makes sense.
Let me go on Instagram real quick. Hold on.
Shout out to Brian. Brian was an intern with Aable and Rick at the Philly Project years ago. Now lives in Texas, got married. And also Claire Claire flew in from Florida
She did.
just for this festival.
She did. Brian's amazing. We love Brian, and Claire is amazing. We
Yes.
love
Claire was a part of our community. She was in our Creatives Philly team for years. She moved down to Florida to be a part of the Jesus School.
Amen.
And she saw the flyers and the Aable, Rick Harmoney, Rashid. She calls herself your big sister, Rashid, I think, right?
No.
No?
Son.
No.
Mom?
Yeah.
Mom.
Mom son type situation.
Mom,
You're
son?
you're her
Yeah,
child.
That's weird.
Why is it weird?
That's awkward.
That's weirder than sister, right?
I don't know. I
It
mean,
was just
happens.
it's just a running joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's just a
it's
joke,
not serious. Yeah.
basically.
I'm
But I'm
sorry.
saying
Why
she
you
has
taking
a
it so
very.
serious, bro?
Sorry.
She loves Rashid a whole lot. Seeing Rashid get this opportunity, she wanted to be there for it to celebrate you. Was her main reason for coming.
Okay, where? Yeah.
And it was just like, again, we are having this like Philly reunion between Zachariah, Jasmine, Claire, Brian, Kanita, us.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 15 of us that are all happen to know each other in the city of Philadelphia. Joycey was there. In Texas. I don't know. To me, I was like, that was the theme of the day. It was
Well,
like,
everybody lives there
Hey,
now.
somebody else is
Guaranteed.
coming.
Like,
Pretty much.
Right.
yeah. Most of the folks that were part of Artisans all live down there.
Yes, now.
Yes.
But they didn't all at same points, though. Not everybody went down there together.
Oh, no, not
Like,
at
it's
once.
been a gravitational
It's
pull.
been like 3 years of them transitioning down.
Yeah.
Wait,
but
hold
the
on,
five
hold on.
of us obviously don't live there, and neither does Claire or Brian. And they were all there, too.
Yes.
Since we're talking about people that we saw, before we got on our flight, we saw the
Oh,
dude
yeah.
who like the creator,
chosen guy.
yeah,
Dallas Jenkins.
Yeah, Dallas Jenkins, bro. And I'm like, yo, that looks like the guy from Chosen. And then he like gets on like to go first class, and he starts speaking to like the attendant.
Sounded just like him.
Yeah, I was like, that's the guy. That's the
Has
guy.
to be him.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was.
Or is it doppelganger?
I'm sure it was him.
Yeah.
That's love. The guy from The Chosen flies first class, though. Don't forget. I'm teasing.
Crowdfunded.
I was like,
Crown. So let's get into the sets. Aaron went first. Your set was first.
I was the opener, yeah.
You're the opener because you were going to be on the last set with Jasmine as well.
Yeah.
So you're the opener. Tell us about your sets. Anything that stuck out, how it went. You know, people you felt like, man, this was awesome. This was challenging. Anything about the sets?
From my memory, I think my set, it went pretty smoothly. People are getting ready to run. There's like a bunch of like tents set up, or there's merch out there and stuff. So people are walking around is what I'm trying to say. Not everyone is just congregated by the stage at the time that I'm starting. So
And there's got to be, what, 50 tents? With
Yeah.
vendors? Like 50 different vendors.
So people's attention is like everywhere. So taking that into consideration, I still think that I had a decent amount of people that I could engage with, and I don't remember my set really going like anything that went wrong with it. We just always try to talk about how we can improve and just create a better experience for people and a more inviting experience for them. But overall, I loved the stage. It was cool. And I think it went pretty well.
No, we just had a very, very brief sound check.
Yeah, we
because
couldn't,
of the
yeah.
weather. It couldn't be helped, but we persevered. Amen.
That's true.
Always personal.
Grateful for one of the strengths of DJ Angie is he's a seasoned veteran. He's been through a lot of the horror stories with music equipment and all that stuff. So like he's just ready for anything, and I think that helps. When we go into a situation where we don't have expectations, we hope everything's gonna be smooth. But when we're just like, nah, we're willing and prepared to just roll with it.
Yeah.
That's really nice to have that. So
Contentment, secret of contentment. Rick was up next. Anything in terms of your set, Rick?
No, I thought it was dope. That's I feel like that's when the sun started coming out like a lot more. And they
Also,
they
it can
had
shine on you.
no. Rick Harmoney. No, but I feel like there were more families out there by that time.
Yeah.
Also
Yeah,
like
that's facts.
and they just had like a lot of stuff for families as well. Like they had a bunch of bounce houses for kids and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
They had like all these food trucks pull up, and then I think by that time like the second race was about to start or something. So there was a lot of folks out there. And I thought the set went smooth. It was well received. I was thinking about jumping off the stage, but then I was like, this is a tall stage, and then I'm not trying to break my ankle.
That's a lot of mud
Yeah,
too.
yeah, that stage was pretty high.
It was like 5 feet.
I mean, it was more than 5 feet, bro.
Yeah, it was
taller than us.
I think it was taller than me.
Yes.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
yeah, bro.
Dang, 7 feet. That's crazy.
It was pretty tall. But yeah, it was a dope set. Got encouragement from some folks afterwards and the next day at church. So I felt good about that.
Yeah, I always appreciate, because you did have a lot more kids at your set in light of like it being warmer and drier. I always appreciate how you engage young people. Like that is one of the things that is just such a core strength of who you are as an artist, Rick. Like your ability to call out like teenagers that come up and even little kids, like creating space for the youth. I mean, it's no surprise that you're a youth pastor, right? But yeah, I always appreciate the way that you make them feel seen. And I think you did that again, per usual, at Justice Run.
Thank you.
Of course. Then we had, and by the way, our sets are happening. And then there's this other stage where other sets are happening. So it's a little bit of back and forth.
Yeah.
Between the quote unquote smaller stage and then the bigger stage. And a lot of those people that we met on Friday night were like rushing down there to see some of their sets, trying to support them and then coming back up. So there's a lot of moving around on the grounds of the park. Anybody stick out from those other sets that you guys saw?
So Bosa, I think, performed on both the
Yeah,
the
she did on
stages.
both. Yeah. She's a poet.
Yeah, she did great.
She killed it.
Amazing.
She was fire. And then also like Ace, I think he killed his set. His was very high energy. So
I couldn't catch his. I thought Bryce G did a really good job.
Oh, yeah.
oh, yeah.
bro.
I mean, he was on the whole day though, but like
Yeah.
he had like that section like
But he had a whole thing. Like he had an apron on. Like he's just like
Apron, camera, like high.
he was just like
energy.
very high, like very engaging with the crowd. I thought
He
did a
like
really good
dance
job.
partied a lot.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he'll go out to the crowd, start dancing, bro. Yeah.
He got the apron on, cooking. Bryce is a funny
Yeah, he's
character,
awesome.
man. Hey, he's like totally opposite of Ant. You guys are the two different DJs.
I'm not a dancer.
he said y'all go ahead do the cha cha slide.
And it's like, chicka, chicka. You do the dancing. I did my part. Enjoy. No, it was cool to meet Bryce and see the way he does things for sure. But then like, you know, because a few of those sets happened and we came back to main stage for Rashid.
Yeah.
And yeah, talk about it. Rashid Saint-Fleur.
Yeah.
Name on the LED wall.
No, that was crazy, bro. I was like looking back at the pictures and like, yo, this actually happened. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, first of all, to begin with, I was like sick going into that whole like weekend, and like it just progressed as the weekend went. So it was tough singing. Then and like on top of that, you know, singing on a big stage, like in a different like state, you know, nerves just start popping in, and like, am I going to be able to hit this? But like overall, it was like everything went smoothly. You know, I enjoyed it. I learned a lot on just how to become a better performer in stages where, you know, kind of like the energy shifts. We're in situations like that a lot. But you know, just being more intentional about like the sets you pick. You know, I just learned so much. I went into that situation feeling blessed. I gave a lot, but I received a lot more throughout that night. Throughout that whole weekend. You know, I remember a few people would come up and, you know, just gave me encouragement, and I thought it was really dope because when I sing, I usually try to make sure that, you know, there's a message being portrayed or like given to other people, and, you know, my main goal is for people to receive the message. And yeah, there was a few people that came up to me and just felt like just kept saying like how they were, you know, blessed by the whole performance, which I really appreciated, and I thought it was dope. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
And it was great to see you do your thing, Rashid.
Thanks, man.
Super proud of you. And these opportunities couldn't go to a better guy.
No, wasn't there like a moment while like the bad weather was going on that we were all like sitting backstage and you guys were like playing your music for people?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I think that was powerful.
It was. What song was it?
Yeah, because there was one. Well, we played your song. We played mine and Rick's song we released recently.
Right.
But there was a lady. I think when we played "Don't Stop Hoping, Child," she got really emotional.
Yeah,
started
yeah.
breaking
Was it
down.
my song?
Yeah, it
really?
was. It was the
The older lady.
No, it wasn't the older lady. It was
No,
the
she
young
was
girl.
like no. She was a grown woman.
Yeah, there was
later,
yeah.
not old, but she was later on to her years, and she kind of came out of like addiction and stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
was very like
I remember that.
impacted by that.
The rest of that night, though, just to kind of speed things up, I know we've been here a minute. The Zion Dance Project was amazing. So freaking cool what they're doing with the whole squad of dancers. I mean, they got to have like 50 people in the company. And they did like an entire performance out in the yard in the middle. And then, the end of the night, lights, sun's going down. It becomes a nighttime lit up stage festival. Zachariah's set was beautiful.
Amazing.
So much that could be said there. But shout out to Zach. And then Jasmine closed it out. And in her set, I mean, she's just a superstar.
Incredible.
Like you know what I mean? She just is. Like she really has it. She can sit on a guitar and be a singer-songwriter in a coffee shop. But when she has a full band behind her and her band is disgusting, she becomes like a pop star on stage,
So good.
I mean, the one thing that really stuck out to me with that, like we had a conversation with her and she was saying like when she leads worship, like she just wants to hide in the presence. Like she doesn't want to be in the front, like singing the songs. Like she just wants to be singing in the background.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't want to be the eye of what people see. But she was like, it's kind of like, it's not the same thing when you're doing like your regular music because like people want to be engaged and they want to feel connected to your music. So you need like the approach is a little different. But that's what like really stuck out to me in the conversation of like how she like carries herself through those moments.
Right.
Like she still views them as opportunities to connect with God, but to bring people into how she connects with God, if that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, she killed it. She's incredible. And you got to do Hello, Hello. They did Humpty Dumpty. They did All My Other Lovers, which were all tracks from the last project that involved other people.
Which were all fire.
And that was really cool to like witness because you see, major level artists do that where they bring people out that are on different songs. But to do it with somebody that's reachable, Jasmine, obviously relationship with her, and to get to witness the way that she curated that set to involve other people, highlighting them.
Yeah.
I thought, to me, I was like, oh, that's a goal for us. Like, how do we do that in the ripe events that we host, but also, events that we go to? How do we continually be not my set, but our set and create space for one another in these types of moments, right? And Ant, I mean, you grew up doing that with Doc, Drew, and the whole nine. Like,
Yeah, don't leave your friends behind, guys.
Ooh.
Amen. Amen.
I left feeling inspired from her set. I remember the one thing I said after the whole festival was over, we were chatting in the back. I was like, yo, I'm trying to do something with a full band now. And then she she stuck with me. She was like, bro, like, she was like, you can do it. Like, and I've been like thinking about this a lot and like just learning how to navigate just artistry and just being an artist and like trusting God with just with everything that we do. I believe like a lot of times we often put ourselves in boxes, and even further, like we often put God in a box, with what we can do with what he's gifted us with, you know what I mean? So I think like I'm trying to get out of like, all right, instead of like putting myself in a box and just putting God in a box and what he can do for my life, allowing him to like trusting and allowing him to like use me, you know, because I see that a lot in what Jasmine does.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. I remember that conversation even the following day. So the next day, even to just move in that direction, like we go to church at Mercy Culture Church,
Right.
and you know, Jasmine, the worship team are there. I'm kind of blown away that she led worship the next morning, considering how much heavy lifting they were doing on Saturday. Like personally, I would have been like, that's probably the week to take off and just go to church and worship. And maybe she would say that that's probably what they should have done. But, you know, I think to have the church calling out people to serve on Saturday and still show up to church on Sunday as a leader, you kind of have to do both, right? So she's leading worship on Sunday. Worship is awesome. Church was different. You know, it wasn't a typical sermon kind of thing, but still a really interesting time.
I think, well, what you were emphasizing about like Jasmine serving on worship, I think that was like one of the most powerful worship experiences like to be in. To me it was so powerful that I literally downloaded the YouTube video, cut out the message, and kept that worship part and keep it on my phone as like a MP3 file.
That's
And
awesome.
like I keep re-listening to it, and like just the way, particularly like the one song I think it's called Lion, Elevation Worship. I think are the original writers, but the way they curated that moment,
It's beautiful.
we're like saying we're not just singing words to sing words, but we are singing the word of God, and like emphasizing that there's power in the words that we sing, and to experience like a spiritual breakthrough through these words. So I thought that moment particularly, and that's probably why the lady came up and prayed for me. Like I felt like very free in that moment, like a freedom that I feel like, you know, just to be transparent, that I haven't experienced in a long time, if that makes sense. So
That's good.
to me, I thought that morning was like what I needed.
So good.
And I definitely appreciate I'll just say this, right? Like in another conversation we had is like their desire is for you to experience God for real and not for the way that somebody may have misrepresented God before. And I love that heart posture, because it brings you to a realization like, wow, like I've only experienced God out of a place of hurt, or have I experienced God through someone else's lens, and not through like the true revelation of who Jesus is. So yeah, I mean, I know I went off on a tangent right there, but that was my experience that morning. So yeah.
Yep. Oh, it's so good. So good. Thank you for sharing, Rick.
No problem.
And then after church, we have Matt, who's one of the elders at Mercy Culture. Basically, with him and Jasmine, basically just get into a room and they pray over us.
That was
for like an hour in the room. We have voice memos of all the things that they said over us.
crazy.
Powerful. Like in a word, it was just powerful. And I think it communicates the entire thing. Axel just took so much care of us, feeding us well, giving us car, house, hospitality, tea. What do you need? We're here for you. We're serving at you, serving you hand, foot, you know, but then imparting something spiritually in us in a powerful way. I think at the end of the weekend was just a really, really, really cool way to like wrap up our time there. It's a special place. Our friends in Texas do a lot of beautiful things. And, you know, I think that they're an inspiration and a plumb line for kind of what we have going on in Philly. And, you know, I think that there's a mutuality of respect for one another's visions and the ways that those things play out. But it really is family, you know, like when we're down there, or when they're up here or whatever else, it's very, very special. And it's a reminder of, the goodness of God and dwelling together in unity.
Yeah.
We had a great rest of the weekend, and, it was an awesome time to be able to go forward together. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode. And, there's so much more that could even be said, but Justice Run 2022, it was a blast.
Yeah.
And we look forward to what the future could hold, and partnering with AXL, bringing them possibly up here to Philly in the future, us getting to go back down and be a part of things like Justice Run in the future as well. But it's been a joy. Thank you for listening to season 1 of The Time Is Right. Aunt Rashid, Rick, Aable, thank you guys so much for being here today.
Yes, sir.
And
it was a blessing, man.
Yeah, it was a blessing.
Absolutely.
Amen.
we love
Praise
y'all.
God.
Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, as always, stay right.
Ever known, yeah, highly regarded but nearly departed. Should've thought of the end when you started. I mean, I'd never seen this darkness. Remember to stay sober. Light life, team is right, boy. This is the takeover.
It's the right takeover, you simpletons. Talk to God before you talk to us.